Hi. Right. Okay. Today I'm gonna make a Christmas soup. This is for myself. I'm eating with people who or do eat meat rather. So won't be having soup for starters on Christmas Day, whereas I'll be having soup for starters. So I'm going to do a beautiful soup. It's one of the nicest soup things I've ever tasted, and it uses an ingredient that we don't normally use, Jerusalem artichokes. So I've got here some Jerusalem artichokes. I've peeled them already. They're horrid. They're horrid to peel. They come very knobbly, so this would be an example of a very knobbly one. Once you've peeled them, they look like they haven't been peeled because they pick up all the dirt that you can imagine. So I've got some Jerusalem artichokes that I've already prepared. I'm going to put a little bit of celeriac in as well, simply because I don't have very many Jerusalem artichokes. And it's a very, very simple soup. It's Jerusalem artichoke and curry leaf, which I just happened to be in the house one day, had some Jerusalem artichokes and some curry leaves, and thought, I wonder if that works. And it was absolutely fantastic. So Jerusalem artichoke and curry leaf soup. It was very, very popular when we had the restaurant. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give these Jerusalem artichokes here a little swill, because I've just peeled them and they do tend to pick up all the muck that you can possibly imagine. So I give those a quick swill. And it's probably one of the simplest soups to make, because it literally involves just a tiny bit of chopping and then a whole lot of sweating. So I'll do the chopping live. I'll leave the sweating to your imagination. Now, there's one thing I should just say about Jerusalem artichokes, and that is I was in the house once on my own, and I can't remember why I was on my own, but there was I'll actually go down to the board here now. There was no food in the house whatsoever, just a bag of Jerusalem artichokes that I picked up for I don't know what reason, and I thought, well, I've got to eat, and I had some spices in the cupboard. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll just take the Jerusalem artichokes and make wedges, just like you would make potato wedges. There was literally nothing else in the house. And delicious, absolutely fantastic. They make lovely wedges, but one of the side effects of Jerusalem artichokes is that they make you incredibly flatulent. Now, this soup will not have that effect on you, because you won't be eating them in the volume of having, let's say, a whole plate of Jerusalem artichoke fries. But if you do or are tempted to have Jerusalem artichoke fries, just take note that it was probably the most uncomfortable night that I have spent in my entire life. Okay, it really was incredibly flatulent. Right, I'm just going to roughly chop this onion, and then we're going to put the pan on. I'll show you the pan. I've just chunked everything. This is the way that I like to make soup. I like to put my vegetables and my onions in together, and I like to sweat everything down together, because what happens then is, especially if you're making something with maybe sweet potatoes or butternut squash, something that will suck water in, if you're making a soup like that, then it's much better to start off just like this. Okay, let me introduce you to Artichoke. Artichoke, you can't see, is my camera. it's like a pedestal camera that I use for my lecturing when I'm doing some lecturing, and that's great. I love it. I love it. I can take it everywhere. Okay, so this is what the let's go down. This is what the pan looks like. Okay, so in the pan, what we've got is we've got the Jerusalem artichokes, just chunks. We've got chunks of celeriac, and we've got, you know, reasonably chunky onion as well. And what we're going to do is sweat this down and then add some curry leaves. Actually, I'm going to go and get the curry leaves now, and I'll chuck the curry leaves in. So whilst I'm doing that, you can keep on with the pan. So my curry leaves I got in an Asian supermarket. I've taken them off the branches basically, so you've just got the basic leaf left, and I've chucked them in the freezer. Now I'm just going to add in, say, 18 curry leaves. It's for me, so maybe another 5 more. They freeze fantastically, and you know that's there forever. Well, I'm just going to stick this onto pause now. Put that on, and when I come back, this soup is going to be done. And literally all I'm going to do, tip some oil in, put it on the heat, chuck the lid on, give it a little stir, let it sit for about 20 minutes. By the time that's done, all the vegetables are cooked, the onions are soft, the curry leaves have infused throughout the lot. I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper. We'll see that when we come back, and a little bit of lemon juice. Okay, so I'm just going to hang on there, and when we come back, this should be nice and sweated down. Okay, right, we're back, and right, the kettle's just boiled, so we'll be good to finish this soup off. This is very, very simple. Now, let's take the camera over here and take a look at this soup. Right, so I'll just pop that down. Right, so the soup now has just been, you can see that's just been sweating away. Look, it's on a very, very low heat. Okay, so you can see that there's barely a flame flickering under there. Okay, and if I show you what's inside, you can see that everything's really sweated down. And so what we've done there really is we've intensified the flavour, and you can really smell the curry leaves coming up off the soup. Now to finish that off, I'm just going to add a little bit of stock. Now this is the stock that I use all the time. Which is the suitable for all preparations, but it's also a clear stock, so we'll put in, you know, the equivalent probably of about 1 stock cube in there. Always check for season. I'm going to turn the heat back up now because I'm going to basically finish this off completely. I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice, just a very, very small amount of lemon juice to start with. I'm going to add some pepper as well. I'm a big fan of pepper. So I'm going to add a good few grinds of pepper. I usually count these. So that's probably about 9 grinds of pepper in there. And that's really our soup done. Now if I show you that soup, you can see that this is really, everything's cooked. All of those vegetables have sweated down to nothing. I don't know why I'm looking in the cupboard for, because I'm after the kettle. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add a little bit of water to it, just to actually, you know, make that stock up. And then once that's done, it literally is a case of blend, season and finish. Okay, and this is the way that I like to make my soups. I will do another soup reasonably soon, because I've got a sweet potato in the fridge that I want to use up. And let's have a look at this. Let's get the blender out. I'll use the big old shoe for this. We can knock that down now. Get rid of the spoon. Don't hit the camera. Right, and then I'm just going to give Right, now what we want to do is we want to taste. You know, taste is, of course, everything, so let me just use that spoon. There's no point me dirtying another one. I've got to say, that absolutely tastes unbelievable. If I haven't had this for years, I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to add a tiny bit of water. It was a little tiny bit thick, but just a little, couple of 50ml of water for that. Give that a stir. I'm not going to blend it again. We don't want to hear that blended again. Now I'm going to lick this, okay? You can't see it, but off camera, I've just licked that clean. That is, without a doubt, that is probably in my top 2 to 3 of soups. Like I said, I'll do a sweet potato one, sweet potato, chilli and lime. Very, very simple, done exactly the same way. You know, no messing about. Just put everything in, get it all nice and reduced, but without water. Then add the stock in, right? So you're not boiling water into those vegetables and losing all that delicious flavour. It really is the best soup. You could, if you're worried about, you know, curry leaves are a little bit coarse, so even though they've been blended, you will be aware that they're there. If you are, strain it now, the flavour's all there. Okay, but that is Jerusalem artichoke and curry leaf soup. Beautiful.